If this has found you in April, it is no ordinary moment. It is a quiet signal from the unseen. Within Be a Millionaire lies a path where wealth is not chased, but gently drawn to you through alignment. Accept it, and you may begin to sense it already. The soft shift of reality preparing to meet you. Be a Millionaire. Introduction. The universe whispers its secrets to those who are willing to listen. You stand at the threshold of transformation, where your inner landscape begins to reshape the external world. Abundance is not a distant shore, but the very ground beneath your feet, waiting to be recognized. In this moment of awakening, understand that wealth is a vibration, a frequency you generate from within. Your thoughts are not mere passing clouds, but powerful conductors of energy. Each belief you hold creates a resonant field that attracts corresponding experiences. The law of attraction operates with mathematical precision. It is not mystical chance, but a spiritual science of alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs converge into a singular current of certainty, the universe responds with remarkable synchronicity. Money flows not as an external resource, but as an extension of your internal state. Imagine wealth as water, fluid, responsive, seeking its natural level. Your consciousness is the container. The wider and clearer you make this container, the more abundantly it can hold. Doubt creates constriction. Certainty creates expansion. Your millionaire identity is not a distant dream, but a present reality waiting for your full acknowledgement. Every limitation you've accepted is a self-imposed boundary. Every constraint is an illusion you can transcend. The journey of prosperity begins with a fundamental shift, from seeking to allowing, from fighting to receiving, from proving to accepting. You are not learning to become wealthy. You are remembering your inherent abundance. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Belief. Chapter 1. The Spark Within. As you embark on this journey of abundance, two stories will illuminate the hidden pathways of wealth consciousness. They are not mere tales, but mirrors reflecting your own untapped potential. Mabel June once wandered through life believing luck was a selective blessing reserved for others. Her world seemed constrained by invisible barriers of scarcity, until a single moment of unexpected generosity transformed her understanding. One autumn morning, with her last few coins, Mabel purchased bread for a stranger whose hunger touched her heart. The act was small, seemingly inconsequential, yet something shifted in her internal landscape. That evening, an unexpected opportunity arrived, a freelance project that paid 10 times what she had spent on the bread. The universe does not calculate in linear mathematics, but in the currency of emotional frequency. Your joy becomes the magnetic field that attracts abundance. Mabel discovered that wealth begins not in your wallet, but in the expansive energy of your spirit. Parallel to Mabel's journey, Harold Dean uncovered a similar truth. A struggling salesman turned prosperity architect, Harold transformed his daily practice by beginning each morning with 3 deliberate moments of genuine appreciation. He would sit quietly, naming experiences that filled him with gratitude: a warm cup of coffee, the softness of morning light, the memory of a kind gesture. What appeared to be a simple ritual became a powerful invocation. Clients began calling unexpectedly. Opportunities emerged from previously unseen corridors. Harold's intentional appreciation became a vibrational signal, drawing abundance toward him with remarkable precision. These stories reveal a fundamental principle. Wealth is an energy you generate, not a resource you chase. Your emotional tone is the most sophisticated financial strategy available to you. When you feel abundance before its physical manifestation, you create the precise energetic blueprint for its arrival. The practice is not about positive thinking, but about genuine emotional alignment. Your body must memorize the sensation of prosperity, not as a future hope, but as a present reality. Practice. Close your eyes tonight and picture comfort so vividly you could touch it. Let that calm confidence settle as your nightly currency. Chapter 2. The Mirror Effect. In the tapestry of universal wisdom, your relationship with abundance begins not in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments of inner transformation. Consider Clara May, whose life had been a relentless pursuit of external validation. For years, she chased promotions like distant mirages, believing success was something to be acquired rather than embodied. Her journey mirrors your own potential awakening. Each time Clara reached for a new position, her underlying belief whispered, "You are not enough." The universe, ever responsive, reflected this narrative precisely. Promotions slipped through her fingers, not because of skill or opportunity, but because her internal frequency broadcast lack. The moment Clara paused her frantic pursuit and turned inward, everything shifted. She recognized that her constant striving was an expression of deep-seated scarcity. By acknowledging this pattern, she began to rewrite her inner script. Parallel to Clara's journey, consider Percy Lou, a jazz pianist whose music became a metaphor for vibrational transformation. Where once he played with an undertone of resentment, feeling undervalued and overlooked, he consciously chose appreciation with each note. His fingers would dance across the keys, not from a place of desperation, but of pure joy. The remarkable transformation occurred subtly. As Percy's energy shifted from frustration to gratitude, something magical unfolded. His tips began to multiply. Audience connections deepened. Opportunities emerged not through aggressive networking, but through the magnetic quality of his transformed inner state. These stories are not mere anecdotes, but living teachings. They reveal a fundamental truth. Your external world is a precise reflection of your internal landscape. Abundance is not something you chase, but a state you emanate. As you move through your day, treat every mirror, storefront window, and reflection as a teacher repeating your vibration, and meet it with the smile of someone who is already fulfilled. Practice. Meet every reflection with the certainty of someone who knows their inherent worth. Smile deeply, knowingly, as though you are already living the abundance you seek. Chapter 3. The Currency of Emotion. In the dance of abundance, your inner landscape becomes the canvas upon which wealth paints its masterpiece. You are not merely a passive observer, but the active creator of financial flow. Consider Elsie Ray, whose transformation began not with complex strategies, but with a radical shift in perception. Where once she viewed bills as burdensome chains, she learned to see them as sacred exchanges of energy. Each invoice became an opportunity to bless the circulation of wealth, to honor the intricate web of value that connects all economic interactions. Her breakthrough came when she started whispering gratitude with each payment. "Thank you for this opportunity to contribute," she would say, her voice steady and warm. "Thank you for allowing me to participate in this beautiful exchange of value." Slowly, imperceptibly, her relationship with money transformed. Bills that once felt like wounds now became testimonies of her ability to generate and distribute abundance. Vincent Clyde's journey mirrored this wisdom in his small bakery. He discovered that the energy with which he created his bread directly influenced its reception. When exhaustion and stress kneaded the dough, customers sensed something was amiss. But when anticipation, joy, and love became his primary ingredients, something magical occurred. The ovens seemed to pulse with a different warmth. Customers lingered longer, spoke with more enthusiasm. His receipts began to reflect the internal shift, not through aggressive marketing, but through the pure transmission of his elevated emotional state. These stories reveal a universal truth. Your emotional state is not separate from your financial reality. It is the very frequency that attracts or repels abundance. Feeling good is not a luxury. It is a profound responsibility to yourself and the energetic ecosystem you inhabit. Your emotions are the architects of your economic landscape. They whisper to the universe, signaling your readiness to receive, your worthiness of prosperity. When you align your inner state with the vibration of abundance, the external world cannot help but respond. Tonight's practice invites you to deepen this understanding. Hold one coin or bill. Breathe calm admiration into it and whisper "thank you" as if it were your ally. Chapter 4. The Permission to Receive. In the delicate landscape of abundance, you stand at a pivotal crossroads where resistance and receptivity dance their eternal dance. Millionaire embodied the archetype of the solitary worker, her hands calloused from years of independent labor, her spirit armored against vulnerability. She possessed remarkable skills, a craftsperson whose talents could weave dreams into reality. Yet she remained blind to the universal current that flows through connection and mutual support. Her story whispers an ancient truth. Self-reliance, while noble, can become a fortress that blocks the very rivers of prosperity meant to nourish you. Every time Millie refused help, she unknowingly placed invisible barriers around her potential, believing strength meant handling everything alone. Contrast her journey with Geraldine Joy, whose wisdom bloomed like the garden she tended. When neighbors offered seedlings, she did not see these gifts as charity, but as cooperative threads in the grand tapestry of abundance. She accepted with grace, understanding that receiving is not weakness but a sacred dialogue with the universe. Shortly after accepting those seedlings, an unexpected opportunity arose. One of her neighbors, witnessing her gentle stewardship of the garden, approached her with a paid design project. The universe had been listening, waiting for her openness to transform potential into tangible prosperity. You are invited to recognize that every offer of assistance is an invitation from the cosmic intelligence. When you close yourself off, you communicate scarcity. When you receive with gratitude, you signal readiness for abundance. The teaching crystallizes. Your ability to receive is as crucial as your capacity to give. Resistance creates walls. Receptivity builds bridges. Each time you accept help, compliment, or opportunity with an open heart, you are essentially telling the universe, I am ready. I am worthy. Practice. Each time someone offers assistance or compliment, accept graciously, seeing it as evidence that your magnetism is working. Chapter 5. The Language of Wealth. You have been speaking words that bind you, unaware that each utterance is a spell casting shadows across your financial landscape. Betty Rose knew this truth intimately. Her constant refrain of, I can't afford it, was not merely a description, but a powerful incantation that summoned scarcity into her world. Every time Betty muttered those words, she unknowingly erected invisible barriers around her prosperity. Her language was not a neutral observation, but a creative force that shaped her reality with each syllable. The universe, ever responsive, listened intently and reflected back precisely what she proclaimed. Consider Leonard Dale, a man who transformed his relationship with money through the alchemy of language. Where others saw limitations, he spoke of financial resources as supportive companions. Money flows to me with grace, he would declare. My work is valued, and abundance finds me effortlessly. These were not empty words, but intentional vibrations designed to invite opportunity. The miraculous unfolded. Contracts that once seemed uncertain began renewing with unexpected ease. Opportunities emerged where before there had been only silence. Leonard understood a fundamental spiritual principle. Your words are not mere sounds, but living energies that construct the very reality you inhabit. Your mouth is a sacred instrument of creation. Each word you speak is a brushstroke on the canvas of your experience. When you speak of lack, you paint scenes of struggle. When you speak of support, you invite the universe to collaborate in your prosperity. The power resides not in positive thinking, but in authentic, vibrational alignment. Your words must resonate with a deeper truth, a genuine belief in your inherent worthiness and the universe's abundant nature. Practice. Speak aloud one new phrase of financial affection each morning and listen to how it reshapes your mood. Chapter 6. The Frequency of Trust. The whispers of lack can become thunderous when you allow fear to narrate your financial story. You have been taught to see money as a scarce resource, a fleeting visitor that arrives unpredictably and departs without warning. But what if money were instead a faithful companion, constantly circling back to you, responding to the frequency of your trust? Noreen June understood this transformation deeply. She had spent years trembling at every expense, imagining each dollar spent was a dollar lost forever. Her hands would shake when paying bills, her breath shallow with anxiety, as if each transaction were a potential wound to her financial safety. But then she learned the sacred art of trust, not blind hope, but a deliberate, calm knowing that wealth moves in cycles, like breath, like seasons. She began to see money not as something to be hoarded, but as energy to be honored and allowed. Stanley Earle's journey mirrored this wisdom. A craftsman who created exquisite handmade soaps, he would grow despondent during slow weeks, his spirit deflating with each quiet day in his small workshop. Panic would rise, whispering that his dream was failing, that his art would never sustain him. Yet when he learned to breathe through the silence, to trust the unseen movements of opportunity, everything shifted. He stopped pressuring each moment, stopped demanding immediate results. Instead, he continued crafting with love, believing in the inherent value of his work. And then, unexpectedly, a local boutique owner discovered his soaps. Impressed by their quality and unique character, she featured Stanley's creations prominently. What had seemed like barren ground suddenly blossomed with possibility. Your relationship with money is a conversation, a living, breathing dialogue. Every thought, every whispered word carries energy. When you speak of lack, you construct walls. When you speak of flow, you build bridges. Trust is not passive waiting. It is active alignment. It is knowing with a deep, unshakable certainty that abundance is your natural state. When anxiety stirs, say inwardly, "My wealth is faithful," and feel tension soften into confidence. Chapter 7. The Invisible Contract. In the tapestry of abundance, you are not a solitary thread, but a vibrant strand interwoven with countless others. Your perception of wealth determines its movement through your life, and nowhere is this more powerful than in your relationship with the success of those around you. Opal Fay had long nursed a quiet resentment, her heart contracting each time a colleague received recognition or a neighbor purchased a new car. Her whispers of, "Why them and not me?" created an invisible barrier, a wall of separation that blocked the very abundance she craved. The universal law of prosperity operates on a principle of interconnectedness. Every celebration of another's success is an invitation to your own. When you truly rejoice in another's abundance, you signal to the universe that wealth is natural, flowing, and available. Milton Gray understood this principle intuitively. When his friend Thomas launched a successful consulting firm, Milton did not shrink into comparison or bitterness. Instead, he genuinely celebrated, feeling true joy for his friend's achievement. He saw Thomas's success not as a threat, but as proof of what was possible. Within weeks, Milton's own consulting work began to transform. Clients who had previously hesitated now approached him with enthusiasm. Referrals arrived unexpectedly. Opportunities that seemed dormant suddenly bloomed. This is not coincidence, but cosmic alignment. Your emotional landscape determines your energetic broadcast. Envy contracts, creating a frequency of lack. Admiration expands, generating a signal of abundance and possibility. The universe does not distinguish between your joy for another and your joy for yourself. Celebration is a universal language of prosperity. When you genuinely applaud another's success, you are essentially saying, "I recognize this as my potential too." Your practice is simple yet profound. Each time you witness success, whether in a colleague's promotion, a friend's new business, or a stranger's achievement, pause. Whisper quietly to yourself, "This is evidence of what's possible for me." Own the reflection. See their success as a mirror, not a barrier. This is not about comparison, but connection. You are not separate from the abundance around you. You are a living, breathing conduit of prosperity's endless flow. Chapter 8. The Present is Proof. In the tapestry of abundance, you are weaving a profound truth that transcends mere wishful thinking. Vera Nell embodied the common misconception that dreaming of wealth exists somewhere in a distant future, her imagination painting elaborate scenes of prosperity that always remained just beyond her grasp. Her visions were vivid, golden landscapes of success, gleaming opportunities, financial freedom flowing like rivers. Yet these dreams existed only in the realm of someday, a phantom land where potential remains perpetually unrealized. What Vera did not understand was that longing creates distance, while gratitude builds bridges. The universe listens not to your distant dreams, but to your present moment energy. Each time you project your desires into a far-off horizon, you inadvertently signal that abundance is not for now, but for later. This energetic message becomes a barrier, pushing your manifestations further away. Truman Lee understood this spiritual mathematics differently. A painter whose canvases held stories of color and emotion, he transformed his relationship with wealth by changing one critical element: his language of belief. Instead of whispering, "My art might be valued someday," he began declaring with unwavering certainty, "My art is valued now." This subtle shift was not mere semantics, but an energetic recalibration. By speaking in the present tense, Truman collapsed the imaginary timeline between desire and fulfillment. He stepped into the frequency of already being valued, already being successful. The moment you anchor your desires in the present, you signal to the universe that abundance is not a distant dream, but your current reality. Your conviction becomes the blueprint, your present tense gratitude, the construction material. Timing, you will discover, does not dictate manifestation. Your inner conviction does. When you truly believe something is happening now, not later, the external world begins to rearrange itself to match your internal landscape. Practice. Spend a moment describing aloud your abundance using the language of now, and feel the timeline collapse to today. Chapter 9. The Art of Detachment. The dance of manifestation is not a found, relentless pursuit, but about understanding the Delophius may have been taught that success demands constant effort, but the universe whispers a different truth. Rivers that reach the ocean not through forceful rowing, but through gentle surrender. Your abundance arrives when you learn to release. Haruthzel. Ruth knew this rhythm intimately. Years' lifey work had been a testament to constant striving. Mornings she would rise before dawn, draft strategies, map opportunities, and chase every potential connection with an intensity that burned, both dimmed inner light. Vision boards. Success was measured by hours worked, meetings scheduled, and connections made. Yet with each calculated step, strategic, her natural radiance diminished. The very energy she believed would attract abundance began to slip away, like water through hands desperately trying to hold it tight. One moment transformed everything. Byron Paul, a friend who observed her work, shared a curious wisdom. Would he spoke not of constant, but of intentional release. Method was simple. Create clear vision, then it with emotion, then step back and the allow. Pushing, visualize your attachment surveillance, he told her. Print your board, feel its reality, and then let go. At first, hasted. Letting go seemed passive, even dangerous. But something in Byron's calm resonance Ed spirit. Her vision board, with meticulous detail, every goal, every dream, mapped with precision. But instead of constantly rework checking, measuring, analyzing, did something revolutionary. She breathed. She visualized her goals with crystal emotion their emotional texture. Then she released them. Constant monitoring, constant worrying. Opportunities began arriving unexpectedly, surprising ways, through channels she never could have predicted. The teaching crystallized. Letting go is not giving up, but creating giving room. Your energy is not determined by constant motion, but by the quality of your internal state. Practice, as after requested in the after visual chapterizing goal, breath breathe out soft and say, it is settled, allowing letting relief become your precise invitation. Chapter 10. The Millionaire State. In the grand tapestry of abundance, you are not merely a thread, but the weaver of your own luminous design. Doris Liu understood this truth in a moment that transformed her entire existence. She had spent years watching wealth from a distance, like a traveler observing a distant landscape, always believing prosperity was a destination beyond her reach. But something shifted when she realized that wealth was not an external treasure to be hunted, but an internal state to be embodied. Doris began to see herself differently, not as someone waiting for abundance, but as abundance itself walking in human form. Chester Wayne exemplified this principle with remarkable clarity. He didn't merely dream of success, he inhabited it completely. When he moved through the world, his stride spoke of confidence, his words carried the resonance of someone already fulfilled. His clothing, though not extravagant, reflected an inner richness that seemed to magnetize opportunity. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your fundamental identity. When you truly believe you are worthy of prosperity, when you internalize wealth as a core aspect of your being, reality begins to rearrange itself to match that profound inner knowing. This is not about pretense or hollow affirmation. It is about a genuine transformation of self-perception. You are not trying to trick the universe. You are aligning with its fundamental principle that your internal state creates your external experience. Chester understood this. He spoke as someone already successful, listened as someone who valued his own wisdom, and carried himself with a quiet certainty that spoke volumes. His posture was not arrogant, but assured. His interactions marked by a deep sense of self-respect that naturally drew others toward him. The lesson is clear. Prosperity begins in the landscape of your identity. Before the external world reflects abundance, you must first recognize it within yourself. This recognition is not a mental exercise, but a complete embodiment, a way of being that permeates every gesture, every thought, every interaction. Throughout your day, carry yourself as though abundance were your last name, and notice how life salutes that posture. Part 2. The Magnet of Alignment. Chapter 11. The Field of Faith. You stand at the threshold of transformation, where prayer meets precision and expectation dances with true belief. Bonnie Claire's journey illuminates a profound spiritual principle. Your inner landscape determines your outer reality. For years, Bonnie's prayers for prosperity echoed with a hidden dissonance. She would invoke abundance while her heart trembled with an underlying current of struggle. Her words reached toward wealth, but her emotions were anchored in lack. This misalignment created a spiritual interference. Like a radio signal interrupted by static, her manifestations remained weak, and scattered. The universe listens not just to your words, but to the emotional frequency beneath them. Your feelings are the true language of creation. When Bonnie began to synchronize her emotions with her desires, something remarkable occurred. She stopped praying from a place of desperation and started affirming from a place of quiet certainty. Edwin Frank understood this principle intuitively. His approach was elegantly simple. He crafted a mantra of calm certainty and repeated it with unwavering conviction. "Abundance flows through me effortlessly," he would whisper, not as a desperate plea, but as a statement of existing truth. His income responded, doubling as if magnetized by his inner tranquility. Faith, in its truest essence, is not about hoping something will happen. It is about knowing something is already in motion. It is the art of feeling the reality of your desire before physical evidence appears. When you can rest in that feeling, truly rest, without anxiety or constant proof-seeking, you create a powerful vibrational invitation. Your beliefs are not passive thoughts, but active creators. They are the blueprint the universe uses to construct your experience. Every thought, every emotion is the instruction manual for reality. When these instructions are clear, consistent, and calm, manifestation becomes not a distant possibility, but an inevitable outcome. The practice is simple yet profound. Choose one statement of belief that feels steady and repeat it whenever doubt appears, allowing peace to replace proof-seeking. Chapter 12. The Ecology of Desire. In the grand tapestry of abundance, you are not merely a recipient but a creator of space, both physical and energetic. Your environment whispers stories about your readiness to receive. When Penny Sue looked around her cluttered rooms, her possessions spoke a language of stagnation, each object a silent barrier to the prosperity she claimed to desire. The universe responds not to your words, but to the energetic landscape you cultivate. Wallace Ned understood this intrinsic wisdom. His journey began when he recognized that his accumulated belongings were not treasures, but weight, psychological anchors, preventing the winds of opportunity from flowing freely through his life. Imagine your living space as a living, breathing entity that communicates your innermost beliefs. Every unattended corner, every forgotten drawer represents an unconscious resistance to flow. When Wallace started releasing items that no longer served his current vision, something remarkable occurred. His external decluttering became a metaphor for internal liberation. As he donated books he would never read, clothes that no longer fit his transformed self, and trinkets holding memories of past limitations, Wallace created energetic room. The act was not mere organization, but a profound ritual of surrender. He was signaling to the universe, "I am ready. I am open. I make space for what truly matters." Within weeks of this intentional release, a partnership emerged, not through desperate seeking, but through the quiet confidence of a man who had cleared not just his shelves, but his vibration. Your environment is never neutral. It is either a constraint or a conductor of your aspirations. When you look around your current space, what stories do your possessions tell? Do they reflect scarcity or abundance, limitation or possibility? Each object carries an energetic signature, and your relationship with these items communicates volumes about your inner landscape of belief. Alignment is not just about positive thinking, but about creating congruence between your internal desires and external reality. Your physical space is a direct reflection of your inner world, a mirror revealing your true relationship with abundance. Let tidying your surroundings become a ritual of energetic readiness for wealth's arrival. Tonight, select 3 items that no longer resonate with your highest vision. Release them with gratitude, understanding that, in letting go, you create sacred space for new possibilities to enter your life. Chapter 13. The Rhythm of Allowing. In the tapestry of abundance, your relationship with time reveals more about your wealth consciousness than any spreadsheet ever could. You are not a machine designed for endless production, but a living, breathing conduit of creative energy. Georgie May knew this lesson intimately. She had built her career on a foundation of relentless pushing, each project a battle against invisible deadlines, each moment squeezed for maximum output. Her calendar was a battlefield of crossed-out tasks and migraine-inducing schedules, where rest was a luxury she could not afford. But the universe speaks in whispers, and burnout became her profound teacher. When her creativity collapsed, silenced by the very ambition that once drove her, Georgie discovered a radical truth. Allowing is not weakness, but the most sophisticated form of alignment. Across town, Amos Drew understood this principle differently. A graphic designer with a reputation for innovation, he began scheduling leisure not as an afterthought, but as a strategic practice of manifestation. Where others saw idle time, he recognized it as a sacred interval where inspiration breathes and opportunities gestate. By introducing deliberate pauses, a midday walk, 30 minutes of unstructured sketching, an afternoon spent observing clouds, Amos noticed something remarkable. His most groundbreaking designs emerged not during intense labor, but in these moments of apparent stillness. Clients began seeking him out, drawn to the effortless creativity that now characterized his work. The rhythm of abundance, you'll discover, is not a constant sprint, but a dance of engagement and release. Your productivity is not measured by hours conquered, but by the quality of energy you bring to each moment. Pushing creates resistance. Allowing creates flow. This is not passive waiting, but active receptivity. Like a river that knows its destination without frantically carving every inch of its path, you can trust the natural momentum of your desires. Practice. Guard small intervals of stillness daily where you let life move first, noticing prosperity's quiet footsteps. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Magnet of Joy. You stand at the crossroads of effort and ease, where the universe listens most intently to the frequency of your inner landscape. Lola Faye understood this secret long before she could articulate it. Her prosperity danced to the rhythm of her laughter. In her small boutique, selling handcrafted jewelry, Lola noticed something extraordinary. On days when joy bubbled spontaneously from her core, when her laughter rang through the shop like a clear bell, sales would materialize with effortless grace. It wasn't coincidence, but a profound universal law. Joy amplifies your magnetic signal strongest. Rodney Clare, a traveling salesman, discovered a similar truth. Where others saw mundane errands as chores, He transformed them into playful adventures. Waiting in line became an opportunity for gentle humor. Routine meetings turned into moments of unexpected delight. And something miraculous happened. Sponsorships and opportunities began appearing as if summoned by his light-hearted approach. The universe does not respond to struggle. It responds to your vibration. When you infuse your actions with genuine joy, you send out a powerful invitation. Your emotions are not just feelings. They are transmitters of energy, broadcasting your readiness to receive abundance. Joy is not frivolous. It is not a luxury. It is a sophisticated business strategy that most have forgotten. Your happiness is a form of alignment, a signal to the universe that you are open, ready, and worthy of receiving. When you approach your work, your dreams, your daily tasks with a spirit of playfulness, you dismantle the heavy walls of resistance. Stress contracts, joy expands, anxiety repels, lightheartedness attracts. Imagine your desires not as distant goals, but as playful companions waiting to join your dance. Your joy is the music that calls them forward. Practice. Do one activity solely because it delights you, acknowledging joy as your golden business partner. Chapter 15. The Wealth Conversation with Self. The whispers of your inner landscape hold more power than you might comprehend. Each thought you nurture becomes a blueprint, each internal conversation a conductor of your financial destiny. Darlene Ruth understood this profound truth when she began to transform her inner dialogue from a harsh critic to a compassionate guide. For years, Darlene had listened to an inner voice that spoke of limitation. "You're not good enough," it would murmur. "Money is scarce. Success is for others, not for you." These words were not merely thoughts, but energetic imprints that sculpted her reality, creating invisible barriers around her potential. Then came the moment of awakening. Darlene realized that her internal narrator was not a truth-teller, but a habitual storyteller, and she could rewrite the script. She began carefully curating her self-talk, replacing criticism with curiosity, doubt with gentle encouragement. Grover Bruce's journey mirrored this transformation. A small business owner who had struggled with self-doubt, he started a unique practice of daily journaling. But instead of chronicling his fears, he wrote deliberate compliments to himself. "You showed up today," he would write. "Your effort matters. Your persistence is creating something remarkable." The universe listens to these conversations, not just the words, but the energy behind them. When Darlene and Grover shifted their internal dialogue, they weren't just changing words, they were recalibrating their entire energetic frequency. Your inner mentor knows no limitations. This voice understands your infinite potential, speaks with certainty, and sees beyond temporary challenges. When you align with this voice, you create a resonance that money cannot help but follow. Practice. Speak inwardly as a mentor who already succeeded, and feel your cells listen. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Imagine a version of yourself who has already achieved the financial abundance you desire. This version speaks to you with complete confidence, unwavering support, and profound wisdom. Listen as this inner mentor shares words of encouragement, acknowledging your strength, your capability, your inherent worth. Chapter 16. The Gift of Imagination. You stand at the threshold of transformation, where imagination transcends mere fantasy and becomes the blueprint of reality. Imagination is not escape. It is communication with the infinite intelligence that weaves possibility into form. Ida Pearl understood this sacred truth long before others recognized its power. Where most saw daydreaming as idle distraction, she perceived visualization as a precise energetic transmission. Her mind was not a passive screen, but an active broadcasting station, sending signals of possibility into the quantum field. Consider Murray Grant, a sales director who revolutionized his approach by living future success before it manifested. Months before his team's record-breaking quarter, he would gather them in his mind, feeling the texture of gratitude, hearing the warmth in his voice as he thanked them for extraordinary achievements. He did not hope. He rehearsed. Your imagination is not weak suggestion, but powerful instruction. When you vividly construct an experience, feeling its emotional landscape, hearing its sounds, sensing its textures, you are not fantasizing. You are programming your inner technology to recognize and magnetize that reality. The universe does not distinguish between a memory and a future vision. It responds to the emotional signature you broadcast. Your feelings are the language, your imagination the translator, and your belief the transmission tower. Practice does not mean casual thinking. It means deliberate, sensory-rich rehearsal. Close your eyes and transform an ordinary moment, like receiving mail, into an abundance ritual. Feel the envelope's weight as a promise. Sense the paper's texture as a communication from prosperity. Hear the rustle of an opportunity arriving. Reimagine this mundane moment until imagination feels more real than current circumstance. Let your inner vision become so vivid that your body cannot tell the difference between remembering and foreseeing. Chapter 17. The Flow of Contribution. You stand at the threshold of understanding a profound universal truth. Wealth is not a static possession, but a living energy that thrives on movement and intention. Wilma Jean's journey illuminates this principle with remarkable clarity, revealing how the very act of sharing can transform your relationship with abundance. In her small community, Wilma had long observed how some neighbors clutched their resources tightly, believing preservation meant protection. Yet she noticed something different. Those who circulated their wealth with wisdom seemed to attract more effortlessly. It was as if money was a living current, not a stagnant pool. When Wilma began sponsoring local youth programs, donating not just money but her time and expertise, something remarkable occurred. Her small investments began returning multiplied. The energy she released into her community came back to her through unexpected channels, consulting offers, surprise inheritances, collaborative opportunities that seemed to materialize from thin air. The universe responds to generosity not as a transaction, but as a conversation. Each time you release resources with clear intention, you signal to the cosmic network that you understand abundance's true nature. You are not diminishing yourself by giving, but expanding your capacity to receive. Otis Clay's story echoes this principle. A modest craftsman who believed in supporting local artists, he didn't give to receive. He gave because he recognized the inherent value of creativity. By sponsoring art classes and providing materials for young painters, he created a vibration of support that resonated far beyond his immediate circle. Unexpectedly, investors began approaching Otis. They were drawn not just by his craft, but by the ecosystem of generosity he had cultivated. His small acts of sponsorship became a magnetic field, attracting resources and opportunities that aligned with his authentic energy. The teaching is clear. Giving is not about sacrifice, but about affirming your fundamental security. When you share from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, you communicate to the universe that you understand your inherent wealth. Your wealth is not threatened by sharing. It is activated by it. Practice. Offer a small kindness today, sensing the invisible loop of abundance you keep spinning. Chapter 18. The Divine Equation. In the tapestry of wealth creation, you are both the weaver and the thread. Your mind is not a separate entity from your financial journey, but the very loom upon which abundance is crafted. Effie Liu understood this sacred principle, that strategy and spirit are not opposing forces, but harmonious partners in manifestation. Consider how a river flows. It does not simply rush forward without intelligence, but moves with an innate understanding of terrain, gravity, and natural law. Your financial path mirrors this wisdom. Logic provides the banks, while your inner vibration determines the current strength and direction. Clifford Lee embodied this principle in his professional negotiations. Before each meeting, he would center himself, aligning his internal state with his desired outcome. He recognized that intention is an unseen mathematics, a calculation far more precise than spreadsheets or projections. His faith was not passive hope, but an active frequency that reshaped potential outcomes. When you approach any financial endeavor, you are conducting an energy experiment. Your thoughts are not mere whispers, but quantum instructions. Each belief carries a mathematical precision that the universe interprets and responds to with remarkable accuracy. Your inner state is not separate from external results. It is their primary architect. The intersection of logic and spirit reveals a profound truth. Mastery is not about controlling external circumstances, but about cultivating an internal landscape of unwavering certainty. Your skills become amplified not through desperate effort, but through aligned intention. Imagine your financial goals as seeds. Logic provides the soil, structured, practical, deliberate. Your spiritual vibration provides the water and sunlight, the unseen nourishment that transforms potential into manifestation. Neither element alone is sufficient. Their symphony creates growth. Practice. Before any financial decision, pause and feel alignment. Then proceed from inner clarity, not pressure. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Ask yourself, does this choice resonate with my deepest truth? Feel the answer in your body, not as thought, but as a vibration. When your entire being says yes without hesitation, you have found your alignment. Chapter 19. The Atmosphere of Confidence. You stand at the intersection of perception and possibility, where your inner landscape shapes the outer world with remarkable precision. The universe responds not to your circumstances, but to the vibration of your certainty. Ruby Joyce understood this principle intimately. When financial challenges seemed insurmountable, she discovered that confidence was not a result of success, but its creator. Her transformation began when she recognized that her internal narrative determined her external reality. In the depths of a challenging season, Ruby decided to alter her approach. Where once she would shrink and apologize, she now stood tall. Her posture changed first, shoulders back, chin lifted, breathing deliberate and steady. This was not mere physical adjustment, but a fundamental rewiring of her inner frequency. Leonard Ross embodied a similar wisdom. During job interviews, he radiated an unshakable sense of value. His smile was not performative, but genuine, a reflection of his inner knowing. Employers didn't just hear his qualifications, they felt his inherent worth. Your worth is not a calculation of current assets, but an energetic signature you broadcast. When you truly believe in your capacity, opportunities align themselves around your conviction. The world does not grant permission. It responds to your self-declaration. The mathematics of manifestation is simple. Your inner state determines your outer experience. Confidence is not arrogance, but a calm recognition of your intrinsic value. It whispers to the universe, "I am here, I am ready, I am worthy." Your assurance becomes a magnetic field, drawing opportunities toward you. Each interaction, each moment becomes a canvas where your inner confidence paints its reality. The key is not to convince others, but to be so aligned with your worth that doubt becomes impossible. Practice. As you walk, envision the air around you glittering with trust, an aura that announces prosperity. Feel each step as a declaration of your inherent value, radiating a quiet, unshakable certainty that wealth and opportunity are your natural state. Chapter 20. The Signature of Gratitude. You stand at the threshold of a profound realization. Gratitude is not merely a mental exercise, but a living, breathing energy that transforms your entire existence. Flora Beth understood this truth when she moved beyond simply writing lists and began to truly inhabit the vibration of appreciation. For years, Flora had diligently recorded her blessings in leather-bound journals, her pen carefully marking each moment of grace. Yet something felt hollow, mechanical, as if the words themselves were mere shadows of true thankfulness. She realized that genuine gratitude requires more than ink on paper. It demands physical embodiment, a full-hearted resonance that vibrates through every cell of your being. Take Jacob Roy's approach, for instance. Rather than passively waiting for clients, he began writing heartfelt letters to his future collaborators. Not as a marketing strategy, but as a genuine expression of anticipation and connection. He would sit in quiet meditation, feeling the energy of those yet unmet professionals, expressing sincere appreciation for the work they would create together. Remarkably, these letters were not about manipulation, but authentic recognition. Jacob understood that gratitude is a magnetic force that calls forth its own fulfillment. When you thank the universe for something not yet manifested, you signal to the cosmic intelligence that you already perceive its unfolding. Your gratitude becomes a bridge between potential and reality. It is an alchemical process where your emotional frequency begins to reshape the very fabric of your experience. The universe does not respond to your words, but to the feeling behind those words, the vibration of certainty, of already existing abundance. Flora discovered this when she began to embody gratitude physically. She would stand with her arms open, palms facing the sky, breathing deeply and feeling thankfulness course through her body, not as a concept, but as a living current of energy. Her thank you was no longer a passive record, but an active invocation. The moment you transform gratitude from a mental note to a full-bodied experience, something magical occurs. You cease asking and start acknowledging. You stop hoping and start knowing. Your appreciation becomes so real, so tangible, that the universe cannot help but respond. Practice. Each night, move your hand across your heart and silently thank the universe for one unseen blessing already forming. Part 3. The Embodiment of Abundance. Chapter 21. The Identity Shift. You stand at the edge of transformation where words become more than mere sounds. They are the architects of your reality. Eunice May understood this profound truth when she recognized that her financial language was not describing her life, but actually creating it. For years, Eunice had unconsciously bound herself with a single word: broke. She would introduce herself in social circles with statements like, "I'm just scraping by," or "money is always tight." Each utterance was a spell she cast upon herself, an invisible barrier preventing abundance from entering her experience. The shift began subtly. Instead of lamenting her financial state, Eunice started calling herself resourceful. This was not a denial of her current circumstances, but a radical reframing of her relationship with wealth. When unexpected opportunities arose, she would say, "I am someone who finds creative solutions." Her language transformed from a limitation to an invitation. Alvin Boyd witnessed a similar metamorphosis. As a small business owner, he had traditionally approached investors with an energy of desperation. His pitch carried undertones of scarcity. "I hope someone will believe in me," was the unspoken current beneath his words. Once he shifted his self-perception, everything changed. Alvin began speaking about his ventures with unwavering certainty. "This project will succeed" replaced, "I'm trying to make this work." Investors didn't just hear his words. They felt his conviction. They were drawn to the energy of someone who knew, not hoped. Your self-image is the invisible ceiling that governs your potential. When you introduce yourself to the world, you are simultaneously introducing the universe to your expectation. Each word is a vibrational frequency, each description a blueprint for manifestation. Consider how you currently name yourself. Are you the struggling artist or the creative innovator? The overworked employee or the strategic professional? The words you choose are not cosmetic, they are consequential. They signal to your subconscious mind and to the external world exactly what you expect to receive. The universe does not argue with your self-definition. It simply provides evidence that confirms your core beliefs. When you begin to see yourself as naturally abundant, resourceful, and magnetic, external reality will rearrange to match that internal landscape. Practice. Introduce yourself mentally each morning as the version already thriving. Chapter 22. The Harmony Principle. In the soft light of dawn, your transformation begins not with forceful striving, but with a profound understanding. Your inner landscape determines your outer reality. You are learning that true abundance flows not from desperate action, but from a state of harmonious alignment. Sue Ann's journey illuminates this universal truth. Once consumed by relentless pursuit, she discovered that tension creates invisible barriers between you and your desires. Imagine trying to catch water by clutching it tightly. The harder you grasp, the faster it slips through your fingers. So it is with prosperity. When Sue Ann began observing her internal rhythms, She noticed how anxiety constricted her energy, creating a force field of resistance around her goals. Each tense thought was like a wall blocking the very opportunities she sought. She realized her ambition needed not elimination, but refinement, a delicate balance between desire and acceptance. Calvin D. embodied this principle in his business approach. Rather than grinding through endless tasks, he integrated meditative practices into his workflow. Before strategic meetings, he would pause, breathing deeply and centering himself. His productivity wasn't measured by hours worked, but by the quality of his presence. The universe responds to your internal state more than your external efforts. When you radiate calm certainty, opportunities align themselves around you. Your energy becomes an invitation, not a demand. Stress repels. Serenity attracts. Imagine your goals not as distant targets to be conquered, but as natural extensions of your peaceful, aligned self. Each breath can be a recalibration, each moment an opportunity to realign with your truest vibration. The teaching is clear. Harmony sustains creation. Your inner world is the blueprint from which your outer world is constructed. When you synchronize your mind's ambition with your heart's tranquility, magic unfolds effortlessly. Before tasks, breathe until mind and heart feel like the same rhythm, then act. Chapter 23. The Wealth of Relationship. In the vast landscape of human interaction, you stand at the threshold of a profound truth. Prosperity flows not through calculation, but through genuine connection. Nettie Pearl once viewed networking as a strategic chess game, each conversation a move, each handshake a potential transaction. Her world was measured in business cards collected and quick elevator pitches delivered. But something shifted when she began listening, truly listening, to the stories around her. Each conversation became an invitation, not an opportunity to sell, but to understand. Her curiosity transformed networking from a mechanical exchange to a sacred dialogue of human experience. Imagine Nettie in a local coffee shop. Her previous self would have scanned the room for potential clients. Now she sits with open awareness, genuinely interested in the person across the table. Her questions emerge not from a script, but from authentic wonder. "What lights you up?" she asks, and watches as the other person's eyes brighten, their energy expanding. This is the alchemy of true connection. When you approach relationships not as potential conquests, but as opportunities for mutual growth, something extraordinary happens. The universe recognizes your sincerity and begins to weave unexpected threads of opportunity. Elmer Ross understood this principle intuitively. Where others saw networking events as hunting grounds for leads, he saw sanctuaries of human potential. He wasn't collecting contacts, he was cultivating friendships. Each interaction became a seed of genuine care, planted without expectation of immediate return. The principle is profound in its simplicity. Love is the ultimate leverage. Not manipulative love, but the kind of love that sees the inherent worth in every human interaction. When you approach connection with this energy, you become a conduit of abundance. Your network is not a machine to be operated, but an ecosystem to be nurtured. Each conversation carries invisible currents of potential, stories intertwining, energies aligning, opportunities germinating in the rich soil of authentic relationship. The teaching crystallizes. Connection multiplies output. not through strategic maneuvering, but through genuine presence. When you show up fully, listening more than speaking, caring more than calculating, you activate a powerful magnetic field of prosperity. Practice. Treat the next conversation as sacred ground of mutual growth and feel abundance exchange invisibly. As you move through your day, enter each interaction with reverence. Whether with a colleague, a barista, or a stranger, approach them as a fellow traveler. Listen not just to their words, but to the unspoken stories between their sentences. Feel the invisible threads of connection weaving around you, knowing that each genuine moment of connection is a portal to unexpected abundance. Chapter 24. The Alchemy of Challenge. In the landscape of abundance, you will encounter moments that seem like barriers, but are actually transformative thresholds. Your journey is not defined by perfection, but by your capacity to transmute challenge into wisdom. Cora Nell stood amid the remnants of a business venture that had not unfolded as she imagined. Where once she might have collapsed into despair, she now saw her experience through a different lens, one of learning and recalibration. Her initial product launch had met resistance. Customers did not respond as she had envisioned, but instead of interpreting this as failure, she began to listen, truly listen, to the subtle messages within the experience. Each setback carried an energetic blueprint. Cora Nell understood that resistance was not rejection, but refinement. She began documenting her insights, tracing the subtle currents that had guided her journey. What appeared as an obstacle was actually an invitation to realign her vision. Lloyd Ray, a mentor who had weathered numerous entrepreneurial storms, shared a transformative perspective. Setbacks are not roadblocks, he would say. They are calibration moments. The universe does not conspire against you, but continually orients you toward your most authentic expression. When Lloyd encountered challenges, he did not fight them. He received them. He would pause, breathe deeply, and ask, "What is this experience teaching me? How is this redirecting my path toward greater alignment?" This subtle shift transformed difficulty from an enemy into an ally. Resistance, Lloyd taught, was not something to overcome, but to understand. Each challenge carried an energetic message, a whispered guidance toward more refined manifestation. For Cora Nell, this meant examining her initial launch not as a failure, but as valuable intelligence. She analyzed customer feedback, market responses, and her own emotional landscape with compassionate curiosity. The teaching crystallized. Adversity does not diminish your magnetic power. It refines it. Like metal tempered in fire, your belief becomes stronger, more resilient, more precisely tuned to your true frequency of abundance. Lloyd's own journey reflected this principle. Ventures that initially seemed unsuccessful eventually led him to breakthrough connections and opportunities that perfectly matched his evolving vision. Your relationship with challenge determines your capacity for transformation. When you view setbacks as calibration rather than confirmation of limitation, you unlock a profound spiritual technology of manifestation. Practice. When difficulty arises, whisper, "Alignment upgrade," and stay receptive. These words are not mere words, but an energetic reset, a declaration that you are always in process, always expanding, always being guided toward your most authentic expression of abundance. Chapter 25. The Silent Partner of Intuition. In the tapestry of abundance, you are not merely a passive thread, but the weaver of your own magnificent design. Your intuition is a compass more precise than any rational calculation, a whispered language that speaks directly to the universe's intricate communication network. Sadie June understood this profound truth in a moment that would transform her entire trajectory. For years, she had followed conventional wisdom, mapping her career with spreadsheets and strategic plans. Yet something deeper stirred within her, a gentle but persistent nudge that defied logical explanation. When the first intuitive whisper emerged, Sadie hesitated. Her mind demanded proof, rational justification. But the feeling persisted, soft yet unmistakable, like a warm breeze suggesting a different path. She had been working in corporate marketing, a role that paid well but felt increasingly constrictive. The nudge suggested she explore something entirely different, coaching and personal development. At first, she dismissed the impulse as mere fantasy. How could she leave a stable career for an uncertain journey? But the whispers grew more insistent, more vivid. They carried an energy of possibility that her spreadsheets could never capture. Victor Neal's story resonated deeply with her own unfolding journey. He had learned to trust those subtle inner promptings, those seemingly illogical suggestions that logic would quickly dismiss. During one such moment, he attended a seminar on entrepreneurship, not because a detailed plan suggested it, but because something within him felt drawn to the event. At that very seminar, his breakthrough investor appeared, not through calculated networking, but through the mysterious alignment of following an intuitive thread. The universe, it seemed, conspired in favor of those willing to listen to its subtle rhythms. Sadie realized that intuition was not a random occurrence, but a sophisticated communication system. It translated vibrational frequencies into tangible opportunities, transforming invisible potential into concrete reality. Each gentle hint was an invitation from the cosmic intelligence, guiding her toward her most aligned path. Her pivot wasn't about abandoning logic, but expanding her understanding of guidance. Rational planning had its place, but intuition operated on a more profound frequency, one that understood the intricate dance of timing, opportunity, and personal growth. As she began to trust these inner nudges, synchronicities multiplied. Connections emerged unexpectedly. Opportunities appeared where none seemed possible before. Her career transformation wasn't just a change of profession, but an awakening to a more fluid, responsive way of navigating life. The teaching crystallized. Intuition speaks the currency of synchronicity. It is the language of quantum possibility, where your inner guidance system communicates directly with the universe's infinite potential. Practice. Follow one small inner hint today and watch possibility rearrange. Chapter 26. The Lightness of Play. In the quiet corners of your potential there lies a forgotten language, the dialect of play, where creativity dances and intuition whispers its most potent secrets. You have been taught to approach life with stern determination, but the universe speaks most clearly through moments of unexpected joy. Hattie Lou understood this wisdom long before she recognized it as a spiritual principle. As a child, she would spend hours creating elaborate stories with her dolls, giggling at impossible scenarios, her imagination unfurling without constraint. Somewhere along her journey to adulthood, she had misplaced that magical connection, until one ordinary Tuesday when she decided to reclaim her innate sense of playfulness. Her consulting business had been methodical, precise, predictable. Spreadsheets and strategic plans dominated her approach. But that day, she introduced a radical element: pure, unbridled silliness. During client meetings, she began telling whimsical stories, inserting unexpected humor, letting her natural wit shine through. Her presentations became less about rigid data and more about human connection. To her surprise, clients responded not with confusion but with enthusiasm. They saw not just a professional, but a vibrant human being. Her energy shifted from calculated to magnetic. Referrals began flowing unexpectedly. Contracts that once felt like hard-won battles now seemed to arrive with elegant ease. Elwood Joe's story mirrored this principle of playful manifestation. When his marketing campaign stalled, instead of panicking, he began creating humorous content that poked gentle fun at industry norms. His videos, infused with genuine laughter and creativity, went viral. What seemed like a moment of professional risk became his breakthrough. The teaching crystallizes into a simple truth. Play is not the opposite of serious work. It is the highest form of strategic alignment. When you approach your goals with lightness, you unlock channels of creativity that logic cannot access. Laughter raises your vibrational frequency, making you irresistibly attractive to opportunities. Your intuition speaks most clearly when you are unguarded, when joy becomes your primary language. The universe does not respond to struggle. It responds to your energetic invitation. Practice. Find humor in your goals. Smile as you plan. Let joy handle logistics. Chapter 27. The Symphony of Action. In the grand tapestry of manifestation, you stand at the crossroads where imagination meets action, where the whispers of potential transform into tangible reality. Lucy May's journey illuminates a profound truth. Your dreams are not mere fantasies floating in distant realms, but living energies seeking expression through your movement. Imagine Lucy, a painter whose canvases remained untouched for years, filled with vibrant sketches and passionate concepts. She would dream elaborate scenes, intricate compositions that danced within her mind, yet something always held her back from bringing them to life, until one day she realized that her hesitation was itself a form of resistance, a barrier blocking the very abundance she sought. When Lucy began taking small, decisive steps, mixing a palette, touching brush to canvas, allowing her intuition to guide her hand, something remarkable happened. Each deliberate action became a signal to the universe, a declaration of her readiness to receive. Her paintings, once static dreams, started to breathe with an energy that attracted collectors, galleries, and opportunities she had never imagined. Ralph Tedd's story mirrors this universal principle. A software developer with innovative ideas, he had grown accustomed to overthinking, analyzing every potential outcome until inspiration grew stale. But when he started honoring his intuitive urges, rapidly prototyping a concept, reaching out to a potential collaborator, or simply sketching a rough design, the universe responded with a symphony of synchronicities. You see, inspired action is not about grand, overwhelming movements, but about consistent, aligned steps. It's the difference between watching a river and stepping into its flow. Each small action carries the vibration of your intention, sending ripples through the fabric of possibility. Your dreams are not waiting for perfect conditions. They are waiting for your participation. They are alive, dynamic energies seeking expression through your willingness to move, to try, to risk. When you align your thoughts with purposeful action, you become a co-creator with the universe, not just a passive observer. The key is to move from a place of inner certainty, not from fear or desperation. Your actions should feel like a natural extension of your vision, lightweight and inspired. Think of a child playing, unburdened, joyful, fully immersed in the moment. That's the energy of true manifestation. Practice. Each aligned thought deserves one tiny act today, however symbolic, affirming readiness. Choose one inspiration that has been whispering to you and take one small, immediate step toward its realization. Chapter 28. The Infinite Circulation. In the intricate dance of wealth, you are learning that money is not a static object to be hoarded, but a living energy meant to circulate. Tessie Ray understood this profound truth when she began seeing her spending not as a loss, but as participation in the great economic symphony of life. Imagine money as water, always moving, always finding its way, nourishing different landscapes as it flows. When Tessie shifted her perspective, she realized each transaction was an act of trust, a declaration of abundance. Her spending became a ritual of engagement, not depletion. Bernard Clyde embodied this principle with remarkable grace. He approached generosity not as sacrifice, but as investment in the universal current of prosperity. Each time he offered support, whether through a gift, a loan, or unexpected assistance, he watched with quiet amazement as abundance returned to him, multiplied and transformed. The universe operates on a principle of reciprocity far more complex than simple exchange. When you release money with love, without fear of scarcity, you signal to the cosmic system that you trust its infinite capacity to provide. Your currency becomes a messenger, carrying not just monetary value, but the energetic signature of your trust. This is not mere magical thinking, but a fundamental understanding of how energy moves. Every dollar you spend consciously becomes a seed planted in the fertile ground of possibility. Some seeds grow immediately, others germinate slowly, but each carries the potential of return. Bernard's experience revealed that generosity is not about the amount given, but the intention behind the giving. When he supported a struggling artist, sponsored a local community project, or helped a friend through a challenging time, he did so without expectation. Yet, invariably, opportunities would emerge, sometimes from the most unexpected directions. Your relationship with money transforms the moment you see it as a living energy rather than a static resource. It breathes, moves, and responds to your emotional frequency. Scarcity thinking constricts its flow. Abundance consciousness allows it to dance freely. Practice. Bless every outgoing coin with love, and imagine it returning multiplied as gratitude made visible. Chapter 29. The Mastery of Presence. In the quiet rhythm of awareness, you discover a profound truth. Your attention is the most powerful currency you possess. Like Minnie Ann, who transformed ordinary moments into sacred practices, you learn that true productivity emerges not from frantic motion, but from intentional presence. Imagine each task as a delicate thread in the universe's grand tapestry. When Howard Lee approached his work, he didn't scatter his energy like leaves in the wind. Instead, he anchored himself fully in each moment, creating a laser-like focus that transformed ordinary actions into extraordinary achievements. The world often glorifies busyness, mistaking movement for progress. But you now understand that mastery resides in the depth of your engagement, not the breadth of your scattered efforts. When you wash a dish, wash the dish. When you write an email, let your entire being flow into those words. When you listen to another, become listening itself. This is not about doing less, but about being more. Each action becomes a meditation, each moment an opportunity to channel the universe's infinite intelligence. Your hands may be performing a task, but your spirit is conducting a symphony of presence. Howard Lee's approach revealed a counterintuitive truth. By reducing external noise and internal fragmentation, he amplified his effectiveness. He discovered that when you are fully present, time becomes elastic. Tasks that once seemed overwhelming now flow with grace and precision. Your power lives in this moment, not in yesterday's memories or tomorrow's anxieties. Each breath is an invitation to align your energy, to become a clear channel through which inspiration and effectiveness can move. Practice. Infuse your next routine act with deliberate attention and feel the universe watching through your calm. Chapter 30. The Acceptance Code. In the quiet corners of your becoming, there lies a profound truth that transcends all strategies, techniques, and manifestation practices. Your wealth is not something to be chased, manipulated, or conquered. It is a state of being you simply accept. Nora Jean understood this when she stopped trying to become a millionaire and simply recognized herself as one. Her transformation wasn't dramatic. It was a gentle exhale of resistance. She noticed how her energy shifted the moment she stopped performing abundance and started embodying it. Freddie Glenn witnessed this same principle. He had spent years constructing elaborate plans, only to discover that true prosperity emerged when he surrendered his constant doing. His miracles began appearing not through complex maneuvers, but through a radical acceptance of his inherent worth. The universe responds to your fundamental vibration, not your desperate actions, but your peaceful knowing. When you truly accept your wealth identity, you become a clear channel. Acceptance is not passive. It is a powerful declaration of alignment. It is saying to the infinite intelligence that surrounds you, I am ready, I am worthy, I receive. This acceptance transcends external circumstances. It doesn't depend on your current bank balance or past financial history. It is an internal recognition that abundance is your natural state, your birthright. You are not creating wealth. You are allowing it to flow through you. Your mind might resist this simplicity. It wants complexity, wants to feel that manifestation requires Herculean effort. But true mastery is elegant, quiet, profound. It knows that the moment you stop fighting your inherent prosperity, prosperity rushes to meet you. Sit quietly, inhale confidence, whisper, I accept, and let that sentence build your new atmosphere. Part 4. The Legacy of Prosperity. Chapter 31. The Echo of Generosity. You stand at the threshold of a profound realization. Abundance is not a private treasure to be hoarded, but a living energy that grows through circulation. Lula Fay's journey illuminates a universal truth that many millionaires understand instinctively. Your wealth expands in direct proportion to your willingness to share. For years, Lula had guarded her expertise like a precious secret. Her business knowledge, her hard-earned insights, remained locked within her, as if sharing would diminish her competitive edge. But the universe operates on a different principle, one of interconnectedness and mutual growth. When she finally began to open her hands, to teach freely, something remarkable happened. Her reluctance transformed into a powerful transmission of abundance. Each lesson shared was not a subtraction from her wealth, but a declaration of her overflow. It was as if the energetic field surrounding her business was waiting for this very signal, proof that she had more than enough to give. Silas Dean's story mirrors this principle beautifully. He began mentoring young apprentices without calculating immediate financial return. His generosity became a beacon, attracting opportunities far beyond the value of his initial offering. Contracts emerged that paid tenfold what he might have charged for those initial lessons. This is the paradox of true abundance. Giving does not deplete, it amplifies. Your resources are not finite. They are a flowing current that grows stronger with each act of generous sharing. When you teach, when you support, when you lift others without expectation of return, you broadcast a powerful message to the universe. I am so abundant that my cup overflows. The millionaire frequency is not about accumulation, but circulation. It's about understanding that wealth is an energy that moves through you, not something you possess. Each time you share your knowledge, your skill, your insight, you create energetic pathways for prosperity to flow. Your gifts are not meant to be hidden. They are meant to be transmitted, shared, spread with an open hand and an expansive heart. The moment you stop protecting and start distributing, you align with the true nature of abundance. The practice is simple yet profound. Share one piece of valuable insight or assistance today without expectation of return, feeling the expansion in your chest that proves you are already wealthy. Chapter 32. The Vision Beyond Self. In the intricate tapestry of abundance, you are not merely a thread, but a weaver of collective transformation. Your wealth is not a solitary journey, but a river that nourishes many shores. Dolly West discovered this profound truth when she lifted her gaze from her personal ledgers and saw the broader landscape of possibility. For years, Dolly had been trapped in a narrow perception of prosperity, counting pennies, tracking expenses, always feeling one step away from scarcity. Her financial vision was a small window, revealing only her immediate needs. But something shifted when she began to see her resources as a conduit for community healing. She started small. With her first surplus, she funded a scholarship for a local student whose dreams seemed distant. She sponsored community garden workshops, providing seeds and knowledge to neighborhoods seeking self-sufficiency. Each act of generosity expanded her understanding of wealth, not as something to hoard, but as energy meant to circulate. Ernest Lee embodied this principle even more dramatically. A small business owner with modest means, he dedicated his profits to constructing a public library in his hometown. This wasn't a strategic marketing move, but a genuine commitment to knowledge accessibility. His why transcended personal gain. It was about creating a space where learning could flourish for everyone. The universe responded with remarkable synchronicity. Local businesses began supporting his initiative. Community leaders took notice. What started as a humble project became a citywide movement, with Ernest's small venture transforming into a beacon of collective aspiration. This is the secret hidden in plain sight. When your financial intention serves a purpose larger than yourself, you activate a more powerful manifesting frequency. The cosmos does not just observe, it collaborates. Your abundance becomes a living, breathing entity that grows not by accumulation, but by distribution. Your wealth is not measured by what you keep, but by what you empower. Each dollar can be a seed of transformation, each investment a bridge to someone else's potential. The millionaire consciousness understands that prosperity is not an individual achievement, but a collective symphony. Practice. Write down one way your financial abundance can improve the life of another, and sit with the feeling of that contribution until it feels real and warm within you. Chapter 33. The Timeless Wealth. In the vast landscape of abundance, time is but a whisper, a gentle illusion that dissolves when you align with the eternal frequency of possibility. You may have been told that wealth has an expiration date, that opportunities fade with the passing of years. But in truth, the universe knows no such boundaries. Verna Blue discovered this profound wisdom when she finally released her fears about starting late. Her entire life, she had believed that financial success was a young person's game, a race already won by others. But something shifted when she understood that abundance is not a finite resource parceled out according to age, but an infinite energy responsive to your vibration. Look at Orville Kay, who at 72 refused to accept society's narrow definition of potential. While many would have counseled retirement, he saw his decades of experience not as limitations, but as a powerful reservoir of unique knowledge. He began visualizing a consultancy that would honor his lifetime of expertise, holding the vision with the same certainty a young entrepreneur might hold their first dream. The universe does not calculate age. It calculates alignment. Your readiness is not measured in years, but in the clarity of your intention and the depth of your belief. Every moment is a fresh canvas, unmarked by past limitations or future doubts. When you step into this understanding, time becomes fluid, and opportunity becomes your faithful companion. Orville's vision materialized with breathtaking swiftness. A consulting opportunity emerged that required precisely the nuanced understanding he had cultivated over decades. His wealth was not just financial, it was the wealth of wisdom, experience, and unwavering self-belief. Your age is not a constraint. It is a testament. Every year you have lived has been preparation. Every challenge, a refinement of your inner gold. The law of attraction does not discriminate. It responds to the energy you emit, regardless of the calendar. Practice. Release the thought of time entirely today, affirming that your moment of success is planted in the fertile ground of the present. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel the timeless essence within you, ageless, boundless, complete. Whisper to yourself, "My potential knows no limits. My abundance is now." Chapter 34. The Garden of Influence. In the grand tapestry of prosperity, you are both the weaver and the thread, continuously spinning the fabric of your financial reality through every word, every thought, every conversation. Your speech is not merely a transmission of sound, but a powerful, energetic broadcast that shapes the landscape of your abundance. Mamie Lou discovered this profound truth when she realized how her casual conversations were silently eroding the fertile ground of her potential wealth. Each whispered criticism, each moment of idle gossip was like scattering salt across her own financial soil, preventing anything meaningful from taking root. The universe listens intently to your words, not just for their literal meaning, but for their vibrational essence. When you speak of lack, of struggle, of others' failures, you are unknowingly sending out a frequency that attracts precisely those experiences. Your words are seeds, and the conversations you nurture determine the harvest of your life. Homer Joe understood this principle deeply. He began to meticulously curate his social interactions, treating each conversation as a sacred space of potential creation. Instead of engaging in discussions that circled around people's shortcomings or mundane complaints, he redirected dialogues toward possibilities, dreams, and growth. This was not about artificial positivity, but a genuine commitment to elevating the energetic environment around him. When colleagues would begin to drift toward negative commentary, Homer would gently guide the conversation toward constructive territory. He asked questions that sparked innovation, shared insights that inspired, and listened with genuine curiosity. The transformation was not instantaneous, but gradual and profound. As Homer surrounded himself with conversations that hummed with potential and optimism, he noticed subtle shifts. Opportunities began to emerge from unexpected corners. Connections that once seemed distant now appeared with surprising ease. Your social circle is more than a network. It is an energetic ecosystem. Just as a gardener carefully selects which plants will grow together, you must be intentional about the conversations you allow to take root in your consciousness. The most successful individuals understand that their wealth is directly correlated to the quality of their interactions. The practice is simple yet potent. Consciously steer your next conversation toward hope and possibility, weeding out any complaint before it can take root. Chapter 35. The Ultimate Freedom. In the garden of wealth, some cultivate scarcity while others nurture abundance. You have within you a choice, a profound decision that determines whether money flows through your life like a vibrant river or remains trapped like stagnant water. Sylvester Ray understood this lesson late in life. For decades, he had treated money as a fortress to be defended, hoarding every penny with a fear so intense it became a prison. His savings grew, but his spirit contracted. Each dollar saved was a dream postponed, a moment of joy sacrificed on the altar of future security. But true wealth is not measured by numbers in a ledger. It is measured by the richness of your experience, the freedom to breathe, to explore, to live fully in each moment. Sylvester realized he had traded his life's vitality for an illusion of safety, becoming a guardian of wealth instead of its joyful conductor. Pearl Ann embodied a different approach. She understood that money is energy, fluid, responsive, alive. When an opportunity arose to invest in an experience that would spark her soul, she did not hesitate. She spent a small sum on something that brought her genuine happiness, treating the expense not as a loss, but as an offering to her own joy. The universe responded immediately. The memory of that joyful experience kept her vibration elevated, attracting new opportunities and income that effortlessly replaced what she had spent. Her spending was not an expense. but an investment, not in material things, but in her own energetic frequency. This is the secret many miss. Money loves movement. It despises stagnation. When you spend with joy, with faith, with an open heart, you signal to the universe that you trust in abundance. You declare that life is not about accumulation, but circulation. Your wealth is not a number. It is a living, breathing energy that responds to your emotional tone. Fear constricts it. Joy expands it. Gratitude magnetizes it. Practice. Use a small sum today to create a moment of pure happiness, treating the expense as an investment in your vibration of abundance. Chapter 36. The Homecoming. In the stillness of your own being lies a wealth beyond measure, waiting not to be discovered but to be remembered. You are not a traveler seeking abundance. You are abundance itself, momentarily forgetting your true nature. Woodrow Clyde's journey mirrors your own, a lifetime of chasing external validation, of believing the secret to prosperity resided in some distant seminar, some unread book, some undiscovered wisdom. He collected certificates, attended conferences, devoured strategies, always feeling one revelation away from breakthrough. Yet, true revelation arrived not through accumulation, but through surrender. In one profound moment of stillness, Woodrow understood. The treasure he sought was the silence itself. The millionaire's secret was not a technique, but a recognition. The wealth he had been hunting existed within him all along, waiting to be acknowledged. Bessie May embodied this truth brilliantly. She stopped searching and simply started being. Her declaration was not a wish, but a statement. Her life was a masterpiece of provision. She did not hope for abundance. She knew herself as its source. The universe, responsive to her inner certainty, began arranging reality to match her coronation. You are not becoming a millionaire. You are awakening to the fact that you already are one. Every search, every struggle, every moment of doubt has been an elaborate dance of remembrance. The divine intelligence that creates galaxies flows through you, pulses within your every cell, whispers in your breath. Wealth is not something to acquire, but a state of being to inhabit. Your worth is not calculated by external measures, but by the depth of your inner knowing. When you truly understand this, money becomes merely an external reflection of your internal abundance. The journey ends not with finding, but with accepting. Accept that you are already whole. Accept that provision is your birthright. Accept that the universe responds to your core vibration with unwavering precision. Practice. Place your hand on your heart and declare that the search is over, for you have arrived at the destination within yourself. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You have traveled from curiosity to embodiment, learning that wealth is neither reward nor accident, but a resonance always available. The $1 million, literal or metaphorical, is merely a reflection of self-recognition, the point at which your inner frequency no longer contradicts your dream. Every character you've encountered, from Mabel June's unexpected generosity to Woodrow Clyde's silent revelation, has been a mirror reflecting your own potential. They demonstrated that abundance is not an external conquest, but an internal state of being. Each story whispered the same fundamental truth: your vibration determines your reality. The journey through these teachings reveals that manifestation is not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning your inner landscape with the frequency of what you desire. Wealth flows not from desperate grasping, but from calm certainty. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are the true currency, more powerful than any monetary system. What you've learned transcends money. It is about understanding your inherent connection to the universal energy of creation. You are not separate from abundance, you are its living expression. The million-dollar wisdom is not found in techniques or strategies, but in the profound recognition of your own worth. The path has stripped away illusions, revealing that you were never truly seeking wealth. You were remembering your intrinsic nature, a being of infinite potential, capable of attracting and generating prosperity with every breath, every thought, every moment of genuine joy and gratitude. Accept this truth. You are already whole. You are already abundant.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.